Hello, Facebook. Hello, universe. This is not live, but it's recorded and it will be uploaded. This will be AwakenSex Part 5. I've been waiting since the first of Friday to just be able to find a way to go live, and it hasn't happened. So I'm hoping this works. In this process, in the last 3 weeks, my computer just broke. I gave it away in Mexico. It was an older Mac. And my phone broke the first night I arrived on the lake. That's where I am here. So the gypsy life. I'm unplugged and just traveling. This is my third place to stay, and we move tomorrow. So we're in San Marcos. It's a spiritual hub. I'm sending this to you with so much love after the day after our Christ Day. We had a beautiful day of bhakti, devotion, love at Mahadevi and ashram with beautiful community. And I'm just like, I need to post. I need to do this broadcast. So this is part 5. I'm going to make it short and sweet. So if you've been following me, AwakenSex community, I'm on YouTube. The past one started about 2 months ago. And this is my 6th place. I've been in the third state and third country. So I am a full-on gypsy on the road all the time. So Awakened Sex community is Instagram, and this is what I want to create, a community of awakened souls, really relishing and honoring this life force, this body, this beauty of what's inside, connecting to the body, connecting to the spirit of life, which really the creative potential comes from our sexual juice, how we connect to ourselves as sexual human beings. And this path. This vision is my life project. This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I'm not getting paid for this as of now, but it's for me. It's for you. It's to share this journey of how do we awaken into our sexuality. So part 5 today is almost towards the end of the 6-part journey. We went through the beginning. So the idea is how do we, in order to share and birth a new humanity of sexual beings, we have to re-educate ourselves as adults. So this platform is going to be a platform for adult sex education. And that's what this calling is for me. It's a huge project. I'm going to be calling in, I call it erotic cheerleaders, allies. And so we went through the journey of the last 5 is really for you to go back into you, into you came through. Something sparked you, your soul, to come through the womb, come through your mama. And somehow there was something that happened. Was it conscious? Were you chosen? Did you come through with love? Or what was the journey of the development of you? And then in the womb were you wanted? And are you an innie or an outie, or are you both? Like for me, I'm an innie. I have a womb. I was able to create life, and I chose not to. That's a big journey, and I'll talk about that another time. But in my womb, I have the potential. I had the potential. And in men, you have an outie, so you have a different function, a different energy, a different relationship, a different action with your sex. So we have innies and outies. Sometimes you have both, and sometimes that curiosity we talked about when you come out, you realize you were different. Males and females, there's this duality it creates, but we're actually becoming more the same. So there's androgyny that's happening because we're recognizing we're feminine and masculine, and this is the journey. So something happens, you notice there's a difference. There's an attraction that starts to happen because around 10 or 12, you recognize your body can have pleasure, a different type of pleasure, not just pleasure of going swimming or jumping off of going jumping into the ocean or hang gliding or whatever, or surfing or whatever water sports or mountain sports, rock climbing, skiing, whatever it may be. But there's this pleasure, this orgasmic pleasure. There's this rush that happens when you get aroused and you get turned on. And all of a sudden, what do you do with this energy? So we talked about that and talked about, how we define it and how we name call it. If I was a girl, like I was called the slut, if I liked sex and I wanted to explore it, I opened my legs and I had sex with more than one guy, and I wasn't married to them. I mean, I'm a slut. Or the word cunt. Why do we use these words? And we use it in a profound as profanity, but not beautiful. And then we talked about, so we kind of left the last time. Imagine being 17, 19, what is the choice of virginity? If you chose to have sex and have penetration, I call it, um, You know, there's oral sex, there's different ways. We've learned that we don't really have a true definition to sex. What does sex mean to you? And so what it is we went, and this is the ending. We went into this exploration of like, okay, I'm no longer a virgin. What does that mean? What's next? What's next? So that's what we're going to talk about. So in your 20s, what did you do? Did you decide to marry your college sweetheart? Did you decide to do what your parents wanted? You know, you found the best girl who had the most status as a guy, or had the, you know, had the money, had the prestige, had the family, and they wanted the bloodline. They wanted you to have a child, you know, to keep this integrity, keep this wealth in the family, or whatever it may be, right? Or you chose to go against your parents' wishes and travel the world, and now you're 28 and you've never really had a relationship, and you don't know, do I want partnership, do I want marriage, what do I want? So this is what we're going to just talk about for about 5 more minutes. We're going to make it short and sweet because I'm going to try to upload this, and I'm going to make it short to make sure that it actually gets uploaded. So the idea is, now you're 28, what next? Do you want to get married? Do you want to have kids? These are questions as a woman, is a lot, especially every time you open your legs, you know, the fear. There is this internal like, maybe you're not the father of my child. I don't want you to be the father of my child. Yes, I want pleasure. Yes, I want connection. I want intimacy. Maybe I didn't want sex, but I did want to connect. So then I decided to have sex because that was easy. But oh fuck, did I get pregnant? That's scary. And I know many women, I went through that, that unsure, you know, and that's something also I teach about blood mystery and fertility. So women have, we bear the it's not a burden, but we bear this challenge, this opportunity, and it's divine and beautiful to create life, but is it a choice? And as many women, it's not always a choice. And then for men, you know, they have the option, if they decided they didn't like the wife or child, they leave. That happens a lot in the States. They just, one day they're gone. Or do they try to stick through it? But it's a challenge, it's a burden. They're not really fully awakened and happy. And they're not having the sex they want. That's another question. So are we having the sex we want? Are we really finding connection through our sex? Not always. There's intimacy and then there's sex. And then sexuality is how we express who we are as human beings. For me, it's how I own my pleasure. Are you owning your pleasure? Are you giving yourself self pleasure, self touch? Are you loving your body? I adore and cherish my body because I've given it a lot of love, and I've given it the freedom to release, and I let the kundalini rise. And that's another journey, and that's an exploration. We both have kundalini. And so the question today is, how do we relate to us as human beings sexually? And are we having the communication around our sexual desires, fears, and needs? So what happens? Maybe you did get married to your college sweetheart and you have the most adorable 3-year-old girl, but you're only 28. And you don't know if you really love her. You don't know what love still is. You're young, you're cute, you don't know. But you know, every time you see, you know, an exotic female, somebody with dark hair, maybe you're married to a blonde, but that dark hair girl that comes in with the more beautiful dark pigment really turns you on. You start to have fantasies about her, and you actually masturbate. And now you don't even want to have sex with your wife, but you didn't know how to talk to her about it. You love your wife, you love your family, but you're having this desire and you don't know what to do with it. So these are the questions and conversations we need to have. These are big questions and big conversations. You know, are you deciding that it's better to be, you want to go on a spiritual journey and stay on the upper chakras and not really engage with the lower chakras? It's scary. The lust idea of the uncontrollable lust and the rage that might come through. But is your heart really open? In the spiritual communities, I don't always feel that the heart may be fully open. Because if we're not running the channel, and we're not opening up, and we're not connecting to our root, and we're not feeling grounded, we also are not trusting our earth body. We're not trusting our bodies. We're not feeling the yang, the fire, the inner wheel. And if this is right here is not open, the heart will be open. It has to come up. Energy moves up and then it comes back down. And that when it comes back down, it comes as awakened energy, awareness. This is the awakened path. It's not something that happens, it can't happen overnight, but it's generally a process. It's an unfolding, transformations that happen over and over and over again. And we're awakening into running with all of our body, all of our energy. And this is where I want to really tap into for the next broadcast. So, is to like the evolution with our sex. How do we evolve as sexual human beings? But for right now, let's just sit and just chew on it. Let's unpack it for a moment. Often, when we get married, are we really aware? Have we communicated our sexual needs and desires? Have we shared our fantasies, our sexual fears, our edges? The communication is really where the magic is. But how do we do it? And that's really the bigger work that I want to put out in the world. So Angel and I with Relate Awake, we just came up with the 3 C's, and I think they're brilliant. And we're going to be sharing it more and more. Is really getting what your needs met comes through opening up the conversation. And it comes through courage of the heart to say, I need to have a conversation with you. Are you able to hold space and listen? Asking for consent. Sharing that you're maybe having fantasies about the neighbor or whatever, or you're watching too much porn and you know it's not helping your sex life with your marriage. Or you don't really know. Maybe you got married to a woman, but you're a man and you really just want to marry a man. It's so scary, but real conversations, real from the heart, scary, vulnerable, because vulnerability is sexy. That's one of our, oh, we don't have it up, but we usually have the sticker, the bumper sticker. I posted it. Vulnerability is sexy, and that's part of Love Coach and our dear sister, ally, friend, Emily Oram. Check her out, the Heart Ninja. She's really an expert on sharing how do we come to that place in vulnerability. And that's really where we are awakening as humanity, as collectives, recognizing that we all have a lot of choices and we're becoming more empowered as human beings. As a female in a body from California, I never got married. I have no children. What's my value? I don't, that's a big question. And I'm no longer having sex to acquire wealth, to get pregnant. I do it out of choice. What for me, when I open my legs and I allow myself to be penetrated by my beloved, and we've been monogamous for 2 years, and that's where we're gonna go. The last part of this is sexual relating, and we're choosing monogamy right now, but we're also opening up our container and giving ourselves permission, each other, to what our needs, our true needs for our own evolutionary path. What are we calling in, and what do we need? Right now, we chose to have this container of sanctity, of communion together to really build this this third child, or build this container together that we really know and trust each other. So if we did go out and have pleasure with somebody else, it doesn't affect our container. Our container is solid. It's there, it's strong. We know it, we're familiar with it, we trust it, and we encourage and we feed it. That's the thing. Are we feeding our sexual containers, our relationships? A lot of relationships fail either out of issues with money or lack of sex, or sex that doesn't make us happy. And lack of emotional connection, I would say, is the third reason. And that's where we're at now. We're no longer just needing sex or even desire sex. We're actually desiring connection more than we're desiring sex. Think about that. So there's a lot here to chew on. There's a lot to explore and play with. And I just want to get to this place of how do we transcend us as sexual human beings to the next level? And this new paradigm of relating, where are you monogamous? Are you asexual? Are you poly? Do you want multiple partners? Are you bisexual? What's your sexual orientation? What's your gender? How do you define yourself? Really like giving yourself the permission card to own your pleasure. So I am Honore. capital O, capital R. That's my alchemy name, my gender name. On is the feminine part, Ray is the masculine. I am here to awaken us into a new way of relating, of who we are as sexual human beings. Hello, humanity. Are you here for this journey with me? Find me on Facebook, AwakenSex, YouTube, AwakenSex, and Instagram, AwakenSex Community. I'm here to awaken, and I am awakened into light and love in this body, owning my pleasure, owning and sharing my truth with the wisdom of my soul. Thank you.